Hey guys, Video Master here with slightly better lighting, and you don't even know what I'm talking about because I'm not going to re-release the video. Pretty much I've already done this list once. The lighting was terrible, and I droned on for a little bit too long, so I'm going to try to go a lot faster now. So here we go, my top 10 favorite PS2 games. And I've got my little Riley right over here, and you can't see her, but she's all curled up. She's cute. So, let's just get right into it. I've got games right here. Right. So, here we go. Number 10, favorite PS2 games of all time. Well, I guess before we actually start, sorry about that, there's going to be a lot of games you're not going to see on this list because there's a lot of games for the PS2 that I've either not played or I just do not really care for that a lot of people will probably have on their list. Like, you're not going to see any Grand Theft Auto games. I'm sorry, I don't like the series. Never have, probably never will. So, no Grand Theft Autos, sorry. A few other games here and there. You're not going to see a Metal Gear. Sorry. But that's just how it is. So what weird-ass games can I have on my list if I don't like any of those really popular ones? Well, let's get going. Number 10. DDR Max Revolution 2. Or pretty much DDR Max 2, Dance Dance Revolution, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I really like the DDR games. There was a time where I used to play this for about 40 minutes a day, like every single day. It would be my exercise, along with biking to work and stuff. And fortunately, I don't have the room to really do that much anymore. Well, I have the room now to do it again, but I didn't have the room, so it kind of stopped. But really like the DDR games. I can only play it, though, at home because I can't do the metal pad because it's so different. I tried it once in the arcade and I failed, so I guess that's just the way it is. But yeah, number 10, DDR. Number 9, Kanoa II. Kanoa 2 is just a great imaginative side-scroller. I think this was my first foray into the series. I did not get to play Door to Phantomville, I believe it's pronounced, on the PS1 because I could never find it. Unfortunately, I mean, I have the Wii. I have the Wii port, so I've been able to play it finally. I haven't beaten it yet, but I have it. I played it. I still want it for the original PlayStation, but it's just a hard game to find. But I played Kanoa 2. I went through the EX missions and everything, and I had a lot of fun. It's a great side-scroller game. It's also very underrated. I mean, you guys should go pick this up if you ever see it. It's really cool. Okay, so number 8, Kingdom Hearts 2. What can I really say about Kingdom Hearts 2? I was one of the few people who was looking forward to Kingdom Hearts 1. I was looking at that, I was like, man, this looks really cool. I think they can pull this off. And, yeah. I think the camera went a little dark there. But yeah, I enjoyed Kingdom Hearts 1. The battle was like a little stiff at places. This really fixed that. I love the battle system in this to death. Unfortunately, this is also the point where the storyline starts getting just incredibly silly. So there's that. But yeah, Kingdom Hearts is like a game that just has one of the most convoluted stories I've ever seen. I'm not really sure I'm not sure I'll ever be able to completely understand what's going on. But yeah. One of my favorite PS2 games. I mean, I would be willing to play through it again, and so I maxed out my character and everything on that. So there we go. So that was like 10, 9, 8, yeah, 7. Game 7, Zone of Enders, Second Runner. Now, I was one of the few people who got the first game just to have Zone of Enders. I didn't care about the Metal Gear Solid 2 demo. I had already played Metal Gear Solid 2. So I was really interested in actual Zone of Enders, and I fucking loved it. And this is definitely a step up. During the times of the PlayStation Magazine demo discs, I remember getting the demo disc for this. I played through it like probably 5 times. I loved it so freaking. I was like, I have to have this game. And my brothers actually helped me get the game because he knew how much I wanted it because I couldn't afford it at the time. So he went, well, I've got this and this and this. Here you go. And he let me trade some games in that he had just so I could get this. And I have to thank him for it because I love the Zone of Enders series. I wish a third one would come out. And I have Fist of Mars too, and I love it. And I don't like strategy RPGs, so that's saying something. Okay, so number 6. Mega Man X8. And as you can tell, I'm wearing a Mega Man shirt, so you might be thinking, oh, this should have been really closer to number 1, shouldn't have it? Yeah, unfortunately, as much as I love Mega Man, and this is definitely a great game, there's a flaw. 2 of the stages are you're on the jet bike, and those stages suck. Just flat out suck. It was only good in X2 and X4. X5 was just annoying. I can't remember if there was a stage where you were on the jet ski in X6. And I think they tried it in X7 and I know they tried it in X8, and I did not care for it in X8. Unfortunately, this is also probably the last Mega Man X thing that X game will ever get. I remember when the trailer came out for this, and I would watch it like once a day, just hyped up for it. I was like, I want this game. And I like Axel in this. I mean, I never hated Axel as a character. I just didn't like how he played in X7, which is a terrible game. So no, that's not on this list. But, I mean, I liked how Axel played and all of that. Just good game. It's just, if it wasn't for those jet ski levels, it probably would have been a lot higher. But those jet ski levels, to me, just really bring it down. Because it means you really only have about 6 stages that you can play through that are good. So, yeah, it's the way it is. Anyway, moving on to number 5, Persona 4. I have the strategy guide and everything to this, and I bought Persona 4 Golden for the Vita because I need the extra stuff. It was such a great game. I've played Persona 3. The problem is Persona 3 has stuff that I don't care for in it. One, you can't control your characters unless you're playing the PSP version, which I do not have. And you can't, I mean, I still hate the fact that if the main character goes down, the game's over. It's like, what? Chie and them don't know how to use a revival bead? They can use it on, like, other people. Like, if Yosuke goes down, Chie can use a fucking bead on him. What the fuck can't he... It's stupid. I'm sorry. It's a stupid-ass thing to put in your game. Don't have it where if the main character dies, game's over. Because that makes no fucking sense. They know how to use the fucking Phoenix Down type thing, a little revival bead. Okay? It's dumb, but... PS4 fixed a lot of things I didn't like in Persona 3. I'm not a fan of dungeon crawlers. That's another one of the reasons why I kind of like Persona 4 a little better. I mean, it's not really that different. I mean, the levels are, yeah, they just got a different aesthetic look. I don't know, for some reason it works for me. I've never enjoyed it where it's just the one dungeon and that's all you're doing is going through the one dungeon. I don't know why that bugs me, but it always has. Grandia Extreme and Persona 3, I don't like the one dungeon rule, so... Yeah. But otherwise, no, I mean, little instances aside, they cleared all of that in here. The storyline was amazing. I loved everything in this. Looking forward to seeing all of the new stuff in the Vita game. So yeah, Persona 4. And I have to mention, I know I'm rambling on a bit, but I have to mention the fact that in the strategy guide, when you get to like the person who's behind everything, they don't tell you who it is. They just say it's suspect number 10 in the list of suspects that you can choose. Didn't see it coming. Freaking floored by it. It was amazing. And I also suggest if you ever play this, if you can get the official little book strategy guide like I have for it, do so, because it will tell you certain choices you need to make to get the good ending. And if you're anything like me, you don't have time to replay through the entire fucking RPG to get the right ending, because I don't have that time. I can't play through an RPG twice, so there's that. But yeah, Persona 4, number 5. Moving on to number 4, Tales of the Abyss. I am a big fan of the Tales of game series, even though I haven't beaten a lot of them. But Tales of the Abyss, when I play through this, I love the characters, I love the story, I love the attacks and everything, I love the phonon thing in the battlefields. And, yeah, cracking my neck there. And at the very end, I love the game. I actually sat there and started playing it again. I just sat there and said, I don't have time to play through RPGs twice, and yet this made me want to do it just for the extra stuff. So that's saying something. The only bad thing about this is, I guess I can say, is Natalia, I believe is her name. It seems like she doesn't need to be in the story. Like, Guy is great, Jade is great, Luke starts out, and I can perfectly understand if you get annoyed by Luke at the beginning, but I do think his character turns, like, really around, and his, development is really great, and Tyr, we need more heroines like her, where she's not the, really cutesy, healer only, the type, like, Tyr kicked ass, and I want more heroines like Tyr, because she was awesome, and Anise is awesome. Like, all of the characters are pretty much awesome. It's just that for some reason Natalia just seemed to kind of been shoehorned in. It's like if you took her out, nothing in the story would have really changed that much. And I know that's not true, but just sometimes it felt that way to me. They needed to do more with her, I guess. But otherwise, really enjoyed the game. I really enjoy that Jade gets indignation, which is probably one of my favorite RPG spells of all time. And there's not really much more I can say. I love the Tales games, and I really love this. I really love the story and everything. Third favorite RPG of all time. And before you ask, number 1 is Chrono Trigger, number 2 is Tales of Fantasia. So, yeah. But they're not PS2 games. But anyway, I saved you having to write a little comment. Which are other two? So, yeah. Number 4, Tales of the Abyss. Number 3. I debated whether or not to do the first game in this series or the second game in this series, and it's kind of late for me to mention it now, but I did do the one game per series rule, so that's why you're not going to see stuff like Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 or like Mega Man X8 and Command Mission or something like that, which I actually haven't played Command Mission yet. I have it, I just haven't played it. But, okay, enough fooling around. Fatal Frame 2. Fatal Frame 2 is number 3. Absolutely love it. I was very excited for the first Fatal Frame. I saw it in an EGM magazine, a little preview, and I was like, that looks awesome. Because like, I was into Resident Evil and all that, and I knew about Silent Hill, and I had played a little bit of Silent Hill 1. I'd played through Silent Hill 2, which isn't scary, so I'm sorry it's not on this list. But if it was going to be on a list, it would be on the top 10 Xbox games, because the Xbox version is better, thanks to the Maria edition, and I do own it for the Xbox. So before you get all pissed at me, Silent Hill 2 is a good game. I don't find it that scary, but if it was going to be on a list, it would probably be on my Xbox list because that port is better. So sorry, we're not talking about Silent Hill. We're talking about Fatal Frame 2. Fatal Frame 1 definitely creeped me out. The blinded woman still creeps me out to this day. I like the story and everything. I just like the gameplay because you've got a camera and you can't really feel badass with a camera taking pictures of ghosts. About the only thing that's in Fatal Frame 1 that's not in Fatal Frame 2 that I'm disappointed in is in Fatal Frame 1 when you killed the ghosts, they turned into the little white ball. They swirled into the white ball and then dispersed. They don't do that in the other games, and I don't know why, because that was always so cool. At least I thought so, but whatever. I'm probably one of the few people who feel that way, but Fatal Frame 2 is just bigger. It's got more story to it. There's a lot more going on. Sai is just wonderfully insane, and when she pops up, you legitimately get scared because like if she just goes taps you, you're dead. So like you see her coming up, and you're like, oh shit, you need to start running. I mean, she just comes at you. So that's really good, and Akane and Ayame is what made the game for me here. Because they're fucking creepy little shits. And they're like my favorite. Like, the ghosts that creep me out the most are my favorites. Like, Blinded Woman is my favorite from the first one, and those two twins are my favorite from the second one, because they're just fucking creepy as all hell. And, I mean, there's other ghosts that are nice, but none of them creeped me out quite as much as those two. So that's it, Fatal Frame 2, and I actually still have stuff to do in this game because I have not beaten it where you fight Sai as the final boss. I've only beaten it where you fight, I think he's called like the Kunai or something, and I know that can't be it because I think it's like the Kusanagi or something, because the Kunai is a fucking ninja throwing weapon from Naruto, and I'm sure real life too, but... So yeah, I don't know what his name is, but it's the roped guy with I think he has a blindfold on. I've only fought him and then beaten the game, and like the ending was very depressing. I love the singleness too, so much to the point that I actually have a Japanese copy of that single. It's on my shelf up there with all my CDs. I love Fatal Frame series. Pissed off that 5's probably not going to come to the Wii U, even though it's a perfect fucking system. Like, oh yeah, they bring it out in Japan, it's perfect, been waiting for it forever, and then of course Nintendo, just like Fatal Frame 4, nope, probably not going to bring it over. Screw you, Nintendo, bring over Fatal Frame 5, come on. Moving along, though, that was number 3. So, what's number 2? Kotaru Man. I love Kotaru Man. I played a demo of it in a Software Etc. before it became GameStop, and I was just like, I have to own this game. And I ended up finding it there at that location, I think like 2 months later for $17.99, blah, 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 blah. So I bought it. This is the copy that I have. There's no instructions here. I don't remember if it came with instructions. That's something I need to get. If this came with instructions, I need to get those, because then this game's not complete. But God, I love this so much. I actually found the soundtrack in a Goodwill. That was so surprising. I found the soundtrack in a Goodwill, and you better believe I bought that sucker. But love to play this game. I love music rhythm games, and this is definitely my favorite by far. The story is wacky. The songs are mostly great. I do not care for the reggae one. It's like where U1's in a giant robot and he's fighting a giant robotic shark on this like kind of like metal planet thing, and U1 keeps going, look over there, and the shark's like, whoa. I hate that song. It's such it's a bad song in my opinion. I'm sure there's people that love it, but I hate it. I do not like listening to it. It's about the only bad song in the game. The jazz song isn't bad. It's not one of my favorites, but I can listen to it and I can play it. It's just not one I'd really generally go back and replay. The second song with the flying UFO, that's my favorite. Flying, it's like flying something. I can't think of it, of course, right now, but that's my favorite song. I will boot up this game just to play that song and then shut the game down. But I love Kotaru Man so much. Second favorite game for the PS2 of my top 10. And now we come to the number 1 game of the PS2. So we've gone through all of these games. What could possibly be my favorite PS2 game of all time? A lot of you are probably thinking, well, it's going to be this, it's going to be this, it's going to be this. And I'm going to tell you once again, I'm not like a lot of people, so I'm sure you've already seen my list is just weird as all hell, but no more screwing around, no more delaying. What is my favorite game for the PS2? Devil May Cry 3. I might have put a little video in there saying, want to know the name. I love that. So, I forget what I was playing, but I was playing something, then this came out, and I dropped that game to play this. And I beat it. When I first saw the E3 trailer to this, I was floored. I loved the music that was playing, the song. I loved what I was seeing in the gameplay. I was like, I just knew it. I knew I was going to own this game. I knew I was going to love this game, and I was right. I'm sorry. This is my favorite PS2 game of all time. I've beaten the original release on normal mode, and I fought all of the bosses again just to get that last blue fragment, with the little portal. I fought all of the bosses again just to get that last little blue fragment portal just so I could get my life all the way up. Took me about probably 2 hours to 3 hours or more to kill Virgil in this, but I finally managed to do it. Killed him. So happy. Then, of course, the special edition came out where you could play as Virgil. I don't know if it's just me, but Virgil seems to be a lot easier to play, because I played through this game with Virgil, and I breezed through it. It was like there was no contest. I was done with this game in I think a day or something. Probably 2 days or 3. I mean, I'm probably exaggerating, but loved it. It's the Black Label because I got that little box that comes with the first 3 games that came with the special edition. That's how I got my copy. I love Devil May Cry. I've played the first one, and I beat it before the third one came out because I knew I was going to want to. But the first one is definitely not my favorite. This is definitely it. And I haven't played 2, in case you're wondering, because I've heard everything that's bad about it. But, I mean, Devil May Cry 3. And one of the things that I find funny is that one of my favorite things of this, I love how Dante talks in this. All of his taunts, his attitude, every time he opens his mouth is just pure gold. And I find that funny because I know there's a lot of people that fucking hate it when Dante talks in this game. And he's like, oh, I just wish he would shut the hell up. And it just is so annoying and blah, 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 blah. And I couldn't get enough of it. I want more Dante like this. And unfortunately, I'm probably not going to get it because too many fans were whining about it. But I have different tastes than most people, so it's just something I'm going to have to deal with. But I loved how he talked in this. I love Lady. She's a great character. I'm sorry, I like her better than Trish. And it's just how it is. I loved everything about this game. I honestly can't sit here and tell you one flaw. I mean, not even the difficulty. Whenever I died in this game, I knew it was my fault, so... I guess the only flaw I could think of is like the guitar weapon's really kind of pointless. And that's kind of the thing. I think like the guitar weapon's kind of pointless. I mean, the Beowulf ones are great. Agni and Rudra are great. They're one of my favorites. And I love Normal Rebellion and all that. It's just that the guitar one, Nevan I believe it's called, it's pointless. It really feels pointless. It's cool to look at, but it feels like a pointless thing. I'm probably just not using the weapon right, so that's just probably the reason. But otherwise, favorite one of all time. Just nothing's ever gonna top this. I could play a whole bunch of other PS2 games. This will never be topped. I can guarantee you. So that's my favorite top 10 PS2 games. What are yours? Tell me in the comments. You might have noticed that this is on the Otaku Ascended channel. Why? Because we haven't really put too many videos out lately, so I thought I'd do this. And if you look in the description, there is a link to my channel, my personal one, where I talk about my top 5 most disappointing PS2 games. So why? Because, let's face it, I have unpopular opinions about a lot of stuff. So I think my channel is just going to become a show called like Unpopular Opinion, where I just talk about stuff where like I have this feeling for this, and like no, I know so many people don't agree with me. So that's the thing for that one. And you can go and join me over there, have some fun. But if you're wondering, where's this game? Where's that game? Ask me in the comments, and I might tell you either if I haven't played it, or maybe I have played it and I forgot about it. Because I don't own every PS2 game. I've borrowed some from friends that I played and beat, and I probably might have really loved them. I just went and looked on my shelf and was like, okay, I know this one I wanted, this one I wanted, this one I want. So that's how that went. Of course, you might see some of those games and you're like, why wasn't this and this and this on the list? And it will be on my most disappointing games list, because that's unfortunately the type of person I am. But that's how it is. Like I said, let me know what yours is in the comments. Ask me if you're wondering where game is, and if you got anything else to say, I mean, please, I'm all up for discussion. So yeah, that's all for that. I'm sure this video has been really, really long. Thank you for sticking through it, and I'll see you later.